Six Nations is back this weekend. Wales can move one step closer to a Grand Slam with a victory over Italy. Italy, wouldn't they just love to throw a spanner in the works of this current Six Nations campaign? They just want to win. Italy could just use a win. Either way, it should be a pretty entertaining game. I will go over the squads. I'll put them in the description as well so you guys can check them out. Squads, stats, and predictions for this one, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how you reckon it might play out. Recent history between these two teams is pretty one-sided. Wales getting the last, it's more than 5 in a row, but when I look at the last 5, it is Wales 5 from 5 from the last 5. The average score in those 5 games, 35 points to 11, so pretty convincing for Wales. The most recent victory was in the Autumn Nations Cup, and that was 38-18. Pretty convincing, pretty comfortable. I think the last Italian victory over Wales was 2007. Yeah, so it's been a long time between drinks. So Italy, as in most weeks, go into this one as pretty big-time underdogs. But Wales have been, by some people's accounts, overachieving in this competition. They weren't expected to be kind of up there, 2 rounds left with a potential Grand Slam on the cards. But they don't want to be complacent in this one. They need to go hammer and tongs and make sure they are putting their best foot forward in the competition. Squads, the Italians have made a few changes. Front rows, Fischetti, Bigi, and Zilocchi. So that's 2 new props. Bigi is still there as captain. At hooker, Traore is not in the squad this week. Lavotti and Ricconi are the backup props on the bench. Cannone and Sisi are the second rowers. Cannone steps up from the bench, so Lazzaroni drops down. Negri, Meyer, and Lamaro are the back row. Still probably my favourite part of the Italian team, but they've generally had pretty good back rows in recent years, especially since I've been paying more attention to the Six Nations than I ever used to. And the 19 combo is hard not to like as well. Varney's back and Garbisi there as well. These guys like to play it quick. Garbisi maybe kicks a wee bit too much, but from all the stats I look at, kicking, if it's done well, is a pretty key ingredient to successful teams, at least in recent years. So, if Varney can get Garbisi some quick ball and he takes it to the line from time to time, we should see some entertainment from the Italians. Canna and Brex are the same midfield. Ioane is still on the left wing, but he's got a new wing partner in Bellini. Sperandio, I don't think, is in the squad this time. And Trulla is there at fullback. The bench, Fabiani, like I mentioned, the props and locks. Mbanda's still there. There's no Palazzani this week. It's Violi, the backup scrum half. Mori is there still. And he's been really good. He's added a lot of value, Mori, when he's come on. He's been a pretty good ball carrier. So more of him, please. And Padovani is the replacement kind of outside back on the bench. So, yeah, they're going into this one, as I said, as always, as underdogs. So there's very little pressure on them. But you never know in sports. Wales, like I mentioned, can't afford to be complacent. Same front row, Wyn Jones, Ken Owens, and Thomas Francis. And there's been some serious work going on in that front row, so long may that continue. Corey Hill, interestingly, gets a start, so he's up from the bench to partner captain Alan Wyn Jones. Navidi, Tipuric, and Faletau, if you're speaking of very impressive back rows, that's one of them. Man, Faletau's been so good. Not just with his defence, I think he's got more run meters than any other Welsh player thus far in the competition. And he's the number 8. Normally it's, fullback. Most teams it's fullback. But Faletau, and he's up there with his tackles as well. The guy is having an absolute stormer. Gareth Davis gets the nod at 9 because old Hardy did his hamstring in that last game. Dan Bigger still continues on at 10. And there's been a bit of talk because, Sheedy's been finishing the games really well. So there's been a lot of talk, why don't you start Sheedy? But they asked Wayne Pivac that in the press conference, and he basically said that's the way he likes the game to play. Dan Bigger gets there, sets everything up, and then Sheedy finishes it off. So maybe Sheedy gets a little bit more of the glory the way things are currently set up. But I don't think Bigger's been playing badly. So I'm kind of still keen to see him keep on at 10 for now. Jonathan Davis, George North continue in the midfield. And George North, I didn't give him enough credit last time, was really good in that midfield. Solid defensively and very, very adept attacking. Got some really nice attacking numbers as well. So yeah, maybe they could be looking to target the area with the Italians. Adams, Lewis, Rees-Zammit, and Liam Williams as a pretty attacking back three as well. The bench, Elliot D still there. Reece Carey comes in. Roger Jones has picked up an injury. Leon Brown still there. Jake Ball, interestingly, gets a crack, even though he's off overseas soon. Adam Baird is apparently being rested, but he's doing phenomenal work as well. So, yeah, good to give him a rest, save him maybe for that last game. Wainwright's there as always. Lloyd Williams comes in, obviously, with the injury to Hardy. So, Gareth Davis steps up. So does Lloyd Williams, Callum Sheedy, and Willis Halaholo. Halaholo was another one they talked about. Why doesn't he get a start again? Pivac sees him, in the way Eddie Jones puts it, as more of a finisher. But, yeah. As I mentioned, the Italians they're up against it with this one because it's a pretty good looking Welsh team. They're 3 from 3. They're first in the competition. But remember, France has played, and Scotland one game less than everybody else so far. When you look at the numbers, Wales has the most meters kicked. So that's what I mentioned about successful teams kicking the ball. It's not just that. Like in Super Rugby, the Crusaders are the most kicking team in Super Rugby. That's just one of the aspects of the game. But it's interesting with Wales that it's not like one guy. Whereas you look at the Italian numbers, and they don't. I think they're 5th in terms of kick meters. But most of them are Garbisi. I think at least half of them. Garbisi's got more kick meters than anybody else in the competition. Whereas Wales, there's not one guy, I don't think, in the top 3 for kick meters. It's really spread amongst the team. There's a lot of guys who kick really well. Halfpenny, even though he's not playing in this game. Liam Williams up there, Bigger's up there, Gareth Davis up there. There's a lot of guys who kick well. So they're a hard team to kind of, target one man when half of the guys can do a really good job. They've got the most tackles. They've got the most dominant tackles. But remember, Wales's 3 from 3 has partly been built on defence. And that's not something you necessarily associate with a Wayne Pivac team. But it's been a thing. It's been really impressive. You look at Tipperik's the top tackler in the competition. Faletau is 2nd. Alan Wynne-Jones is 3rd. And Thomas Francis is 5th. So 4 of the top 5 are Welshmen. They've been absolutely, phenomenal in their defensive efforts. Interestingly, they've got the fewest broken tackles of all the teams, so you might say that's a detrimental stat, but 3 from 3. And they've got the most tries, albeit just ahead of France, who's played a game less. So that's maybe a bit of a false stat, but you don't necessarily have to break tackles to be scoring tries. It is George North who's the top Welshman for that, but in terms of the overall log, he's kind of, lower, upper mid-table maybe. But anyway. Lots to like about what the Welsh are doing. Either way, I know people have been giving them stick about the red cards and whatnot and about the refereeing, but just keep playing Wales. I would say ignore all that nonsense. Just do what you do, man. It's been working for you so far. For Italy, concerning areas still the most offside penalties conceded. That's an area they need to really tighten up because you can't be giving away free penalties. I mentioned all the kicking going through Garbisi largely. They're 2nd overall for offloads, so they like passing it about. They're an entertaining team to watch, but they're like the last team for winning turnovers. They're the top team for missing tackles. So there's some key areas, man. Make your tackles, be competitive at the breakdown. Maybe a bit more educated kicking, but it's a young team, so. As time goes by, that will get better. I mean, looking for bright spots though, Ioane has been a revelation. He's up there in terms of run meters and broken tackles. He's been a proper offensive weapon. I think he's 3rd, top 3 for a lot of stats. I know it's not all about stats, but he's been a real strike weapon. You look at missed tackles though, and as individuals that shouldn't be doing, Trulla, the fullback, maybe he misses a few. Fullbacks are often in awkward positions one-on-one, where they're in a desperate situation. That's tough, but I think Zilocchi, the prop. He's 7 missed tackles or something. You can't be doing that, man. You got to make your tackles. The bookies have got Wales by a whopping 25 points. And the rugby forecast algorithm says by 14. So either way, we'll see. Lewis Rees-Zammit is scoring a few tries, so he might be a guy to put a few bob on. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. Do you think Wales are going to knuckle down and put Italy to the sword? Can you see Italy stepping up for this one? Is it possible Wales go into this one complacent? They've still picked a very, very, very experienced and a very strong team. The Italians are still learning. They still show moments of promise, but there's some key areas that still continue to let them down. You guys let me know your thoughts on this one. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later. Remember, guys, if you're looking to watch Italy against Wales or England hosting France, both the games this weekend are on ITV. You can see the first is listed there, second listed there, so kind of back-to-back games. If you guys are in the UK, that's sweet. You guys are sorted all for free. If you're not in the UK, one option you've got is to jump on ITV using a VPN. You can see I'm using ExpressVPN here. I'm connected to East London, so I will be able to jump on. You can watch it live, but if you want to see, they also do the games on demand. I'll just go to sport and find the Six Nations down here. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Connect to the VPN. I'll put a link in the description for it. Express is pretty good. They do a 30-day money-back guarantee in case you have any issues. But yeah, like I said, connect to the UK. Jump on ITV. You do have to create an account for ITV, but it's free. Email address and Google a UK postcode, and then yeah, basically all these games here, you will be able to watch them live if you're watching live, or on demand like this one is here. But anyway, you guys take care of yourselves. I'll check the link for Express in the description like I said, and yeah, enjoy the rugby. See ya.